All right, man, excited here. We got another great testimony for Top Velocity here. A guy who came into camp in 2019, Brad Wilcott. What's up, Brad? Glad you're here, man.
How's it going? I appreciate it.
And I'm just looking at your camp you attended. You were at the 7-6, so that's July 6, 2019 is when you came to camp.
Yes, sir.
And got you at 87 at camp. I remember you were a big, well put together, talented guy. I really was excited with what you were going to do with this, and so I'm really excited to hear more about it. I know you stayed. How long did you stay here after camp and train?
I stayed for a week after the camp to get the roots of how everything works and train with y'all. That way I knew I was doing the right things with the lifts before I left. That way I felt I was prepared to engage and do more of the lifts as I left as well.
Awesome. And we got here in the back, everybody wants to know, this is showtime. Come on. You gotta do it. we got Alex from the DR over there working. And so Brad, tell everybody why Top V. So how'd you find us? Why did you pick us?
I was in a spot where out of high school, I knew I had a big body and everything, but the velo wasn't coming, and I was always sitting back wondering, like, how are kids that are smaller than me throwing harder, and just the why really was the factor there. And we were looking around, my parents and I, for what to do, and then one day Top Velocity popped up on my Instagram, and I was like, maybe this is it. So I went to my parents and we consulted about it, and we decided that was the way to go. And it was kind of that leap of faith, like, that coming up on my Instagram a day after talking to my parents about it. And we took that leap of faith, and sure enough, it ended up working. I got to come spend time out there and learn from one of the best.
Oh, that's awesome, man. And I remember you coming in, like I said, you were a big specimen, and I could just see you had a lot of potential to be really good at this game. I remember your mother too. Wasn't your mother like a great athlete?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, your mom, like I remember I talked to her for a while. I could see the athleticism you guys had. And I think it's, once again, it was just taking your big frame and probably teaching you how to move it better, than also getting a little more power in it, because you were a strong guy, but getting a little more power in it. I'm assuming that's what's really worked for you well. I know I've kept track with you, or you've informed me on your improvements through the year. And I remember when you were sending me some DMs when you were 91, 92, and I was like, all right, here it goes. But now you tell them how, you came in at 87 at camp. Tell them how high you've been so far.
I ended up at the NBC and World Series in Kansas last week. I topped 95 miles an hour.
That's insane, and that's exciting for you. And how old are you again?
I'm 19.
You're 19. So, and you're a freshman?
Yes, sir. I'll be a freshman again because of COVID, but sophomore in the classroom.
Well, that's exciting, man. And is this something where, are you going to stay at that school now that you're on 95?
Yes, sir. I'm going to attend Alvin Community College again for this year, and then the goal is to move on and play somewhere else after this year.
So exciting. So go into, we know your why of Top Velocity. Go into once you went through that camp and you had that experience of training here for the week. What did that mean to you? Like, what did that do for you as far as in your career?
It taught me early on, before in high school, I didn't lift as much. I didn't understand. I was more immature with the whole thing. And this really sets a mold for, it's not just a one-time thing of lifting. It's really a lifestyle. And that's the thing I came into camp realizing more and more, is these guys aren't coming in and just lifting here and there. It's your job. It's your job to give your body that motivation to do it every day, and seeing the numbers come up and just keep rising is what will take us to the next level and feel rewarding for putting in all that extra effort. And so I guess dedicating that time, and especially this summer, I started to lift more and more. Yeah, I started seeing even more gains throughout the summer, and that's really what motivated me to be that better pitcher and not just throw hard, but it's also helping my off-speed pitches be better and things like that as well, not just the miles per hour.
Right. And Robert and I, we were talking about in that camp the other day. I mean, how many times did we say lifestyle in the camp the other day?
Yeah, because this is not just, you ain't just improving baseball, you're improving your life in general. Because to be able to do this program, you got to change your your habits of eating or sleeping, and literally you just gotta be engaged to be able to perform in a higher level, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So good. You really embrace that lifestyle, and I think that's the game changer. It's the guys that come in, they're willing to embrace and change and make it a lifestyle, are the ones that have a lot of success. Let's get into specifics, though. Give them some real specifics and some of the things that maybe you learned that you had some deficiencies in at camp that you weren't aware of, and then how did you address that, and how did the program address that, and what are some of those real key things that helped?
You know, the key thing that helped me a lot is I was a guy that was big over the top, and my arm always felt good, but I wasn't ever getting that separation. So I got to camp, and y'all had pointed out right away that I didn't get much separation, and that you said easy velo would come later if I started to figure out more separation. And you use that example of two jets on a airway, and one has 1,000 feet to take off and the other has 3,000. Which one's going to have more acceleration and speed? It's the one that gets the longer time. And that really clicked for me, because if I give myself more time to drive off the mound and get my arm working, the velo will come. And sure enough, it did.
Right.
And using my legs and getting more extension with my front side and staying on my back side, but getting my front side there to the point, that's what really helped me. And I think the thing that totally clicked with me on that was the med ball drills, getting the separation and then getting that extension late is what really helped me click.
So, well, that's it, man. You nailed it. So, I mean, it's increasing the distance and more time to accelerate is really what hip to shoulder separation does. It loads the end of the chain back and allows you to use the lower half to create the power, and then gives you time to transfer that power to the ball. And it just will make such an impact on not just velocity, but arm health, on ball movement. You know, all the ball metrics are going to be heavily influenced by that.
He's a good example of the big airplane, right? That he was moving probably slow, not the efficiency, but now we put the engine and the motor and the horsepower, and now, boom,
Yeah.
you can.
Exactly. With more time, with more distance to use it.
Right.
So, as far as, I mean, so, but besides velocity, I mean, you said you saw some good secondary stuff, like your breaking balls got better, and so
Right.
it was more than velocity, right? You saw just your ball was moving a lot better, right? So talk about how it's affected your game as far as pitching and competing.
You know, I've definitely seen a big stride in my game, not just with the velocity, like I said, but also command, understanding how to use certain things at certain times, where there's times where you do need to let it rip in velo, and then other times where you need to let your body extend more and just get that extra, even if it's just an extra couple RPMs on spin rate with the off speed. Everything's been helping progress just off changing my lifestyle. My stamina has been better because of the nutrition aspect of it and the running part of it. The running's really what helped a lot, not just the lifts. The lifts is what gains the velo, but also it's more than just velo. It's stamina. Being able to maintain that velocity for more than one inning is another big thing I saw.
And how do you feel like you've maintained through the year? Do you feel like you can carry your athleticism longer through a season?
Right. I felt, unfortunately, the COVID canceled our season, but I felt that I was going to, my arm, God willing, my arm doesn't get super sore because of the way I take care of my arm and the routine I have to maintain it. You see some guys, they have arm problems after a few innings. It's because, not just because of their arm or having an elbow problem, it's more of how they set up for that game or that outing. It's their preparation is what, in my opinion, is huge on arm care. It's not just picking up a baseball and throwing it and throwing hard.
Any specific metrics you could give us that you know has really gotten better for you from camp?
You know, I feel like my shoulder mobility was the thing that I felt my shoulders always just felt super tight and locked. But then now doing the neck stretches every day, the not just the arm circles, but some band work along with scap mobility, that really helped me have my arm a lot more loose. And I don't ever feel any tension over here anymore or anything like that.
How about any good metrics in your lifts that really went up, and like say your verts or any of those that really went up well?
You know, I think a lot of my lifts went up just because of not getting in the weight room as much when I was younger, seeing the squats go up, the stuff like that, the deadlifts go up, all that stuff, it all goes up now. Even the dumbbell bench is increasing just because of getting those newbie gains along with doing it every day. It's not something where I'm lifting the once a week and that's it. It's more of staying in that routine with the notebook and doing the spring in the spring and the off season in the off season. That's the key, is not just mixing it up, but it's doing what the paper says. It's that way for a reason.
And have you seen mobility improvements in your lower half?
Oh yeah, I feel a lot more flexible. My hamstrings going into the summer, we had a trainer in with the Lincoln Potters, and even she had made comments that she's like, she could tell that I was getting more flexible in my hamstrings and everything was like she was like, you're actually pretty flexible for your height, and most guys your age are stiff when you're that tall. And she felt that I was pretty flexible for being 6'4".
That's awesome, man. Well, dude, sounds like you're on the right path. And I mean, obviously when you're touching 95, you're probably sitting in the low 90s. So ideally your next level is trying to be more consistent in the mid 90s, which you definitely have the size to do it and you have the ability to do it. But that's just even getting better at the details and really locking in on perfecting the speed and power that you can generate, and then being able to use that effectively in your biomechanics by really refining those mechanics in your drill training. I think that gets you to that, even higher level. That gets you more consistent mid 90s, and then keeps your stamina up and keeps you be able to, as long as you keep those routines, you can take that into your season and be very successful. I think you do something like that, you go to a top level D1, you get drafted. I think that's an exciting thing for someone where you are right now.
Yes, sir. And I've seen that more recently. So I had 2 weeks before I went off to Kansas for the NBC after I got home from California. And that's something I worked on for those 2 weeks because I didn't know if I was going to play again this summer. I thought I was going to come home and just work out and get back to the top velocity stuff and just start doing more of the med ball drills because I had more time now and stuff like that. But then I had got the call that a team wanted me to come play with them in the NBC. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to do that. Cause I did have some scouts start to contact me like, hey, do you have more recent video? And I was like, this is a way for me to get that video. And so leading up to the NBC, I worked on just more of the back to getting to the drills, getting that separation and stuff. And I ended up going up there, and in my outing where I came out of the bullpen, I was 93 to 95 up there.
That's crazy. Well, that's awesome. You're already showing it, man. You're very close to being able to consistently be up there. And then you start piping some 97, 98s. That's a game changer. So,
right.
Well, it's exciting, man. We hope, and we can't wait for that call when you do that. So I appreciate you being on, man. Any last words you have for everybody?
I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done. It's not the beginning. It's not the end yet either. There's still a long way to go. And I definitely recommend to anybody to get Top Velocity. It's definitely worth the price. And it's not just a one-time thing. It's definitely a lifestyle, and it'll really change you. And you'll see a lot as an athlete if you do buy into everything that you say.
That's awesome, Brad. I really appreciate that, man. And we wish you the best, and we hope to see you in the big leagues one day, man.
I really appreciate that.
All right, man. Well, all right, dude. Appreciate it. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you so much.